Hello, and welcome to a brand new day of free-to-play here on Magic the Gathering Real Life. Get the dish on the latest with me, Lord Rumfish. So, I'm going to make Wastes of Veldmar available for free. There's going to be links in the description below. One of them is going to be a zip file containing all of the JPEGs of all the cards I'm hosting on Google Drive. Another one's going to be a link to my design page on mtg.design. I think you can individually download the cards there. You should also be able to get a link for files for cockatrice, which is apparently some kind of way you can look at cards or play cards or something. I don't really know much about it. I'm very new to all of this. This isn't the first set I've designed, but this is the first one I thought was good enough to show other people. And I've never tried to, really develop the set to this point. So I haven't used services like that before. But all those links are going to be available to you in the description. So if you want to take the cards and try to find a way to use them digitally, or you could even turn them into proxy cards. I don't expect many, if any, people to do that. But if you were of a mind to, there are a ton of different proxy card websites. From a little bit of research that I did on a Reddit thread, there were a lot of replies that people liked printing proxies. .com as, one of the higher quality options. But there's a ton of competition out there. I'm sure you can find another service. Just look around. Anyhow, I just wanted to go over a few cards where I made a little change somewhere on it. There aren't many functional changes, like rules changes, but I wanted to hit up a couple of those and hit up a few flavor text changes. And there's really not much to go over. First up, Competitive Artificer. I originally left off that the wall token had Defender on the first version of the card that you might have seen. So I went ahead and added that on. Recycled Housing had a problem, it turns out. So there's a common named Garbage Pickers. And that card, whenever you banish one, you generate a trash token. And the original version of this card didn't cost mana to activate. So as long as you had Garbage Pickers, Recycled Housing, and one trash token in play, it formed a loop. Now, the loop wouldn't go to more cards than you had in your library because the banish one was a cost for activating Recycled Housing. But still, it was a 2-card combo that at instant speed, once the cards were in play, you could activate it to generate, somewhere from like 20 to 30 or however many tokens. And that's, I won't say impossible to beat, but a very nasty combination that you can make at the end of the opponent's turn. If they try to remove your creature during their turn, then I guess you have to activate it then, and then, if they have a board sweeper, then they can't really profitably activate it in response, but a lot has to go right for the opponent to disrupt that. And it comes online too early and too easily. So I added a 1-mana activation to Recycled Housing. So the interaction is still there. It's still probably quite good, but it doesn't just explode into lethal damage on like turn 3 or 4. So now you have to work at it a bit. Now it's just like a good, strong synergy that might be of use in Constructed. It would probably be downright awful in limited, except you should have a removal spell somewhere that can kill the garbage pickers, even if you can't get rid of the recycled housing. Um, so that interaction is still here, but now it does not explode. Mad Hermit. I added a name of a character in Mad Hermit's flavor text. I know, it's such a minor change that you wouldn't think I would highlight it, but most of the changes I did were just, changing the font size and fixing the collector numbers. So anything more meaningful than that, really? Or rephrasing a little bit of flavor text, something like that. Anything that's a slightly more meaningful change, like adding something more to the world, like Toxar Norv, the Mad Hermit. I thought it was a point of interest, something I could highlight in this video. I decided to expand the flavor text on Young Sellsword. So since this is representing a kind of important character in their youth, like this set takes place over several years of time, maybe a decade. I wanted to get in just a little bit deeper on the flavor text on this card. So I added just a little bit more, and I added that it was being said by Vina, a junk hauler, to Devolatelg, a young sellsword. So it's just kind of growing the world just a little bit more. And tying in this card more clearly with Duvala and her journey. I made a functional change on Assassin's Dagger. I made the equip cost for anything that's not an assassin or rogue go down from 3 to 2. I know that's not a big change, but I felt like there were some of the colorless cards that I had been far too cautious on. So I didn't want to make a lot of changes at the 11th hour here, after I've already presented the set, but this one felt like it was maybe a little too weak. So going down from equip of 3 to equip of 2, this should be much more playable and limited. Should be a very significant piece of equipment and limited at that equip cost. So I just felt like I had overcosted it, and it didn't feel rare anymore. So I wanted to make it a little bit better. On Bygone Relic, I changed the phrasing just a little bit, and I said that it's being told by Telrin Moxnell, a student of Quelnai College, to Devolatelg. He also was talking to her on the card Orc Charger. That represents like a later spot in the timeline when he can't really stomach the idea of her working for the consortium. This is before that happened. Where he's explaining things about the world. And it's not necessarily that she's not native to the world, it's just that, someone who's young and ambitious may or may not know their history that well. It's true in our world, too. I also added Telrin Moxnell as saying the quote on Obsolete Dragon, but this time he's not a student anymore. Now he's a researcher. So he doesn't have a card representing him in the set, but I'm hinting that he's someone else who's important to the world who knew Duvala when she was young. And their paths diverged, but he's still contributing meaningfully to the world in different ways. If there was ever an expansion, he would probably get a card. And that's it. I didn't want to make a bunch of drastic changes. So there's no changes on Valadra other than her collector number. Right, I fixed all the collector numbers in the set. But I just wanted to have her on screen as I'm doing my wrap up here. She might be too powerful, but I'm willing to put her out there, let the dust settle, and see what happens. So I hope that you've had fun coming with me on this journey. I hope that if you're really interested, you go ahead and download the set. Take a look at the links. Maybe even one day have a chance to play the set. And I guess in the perfect universe, one day you and I could sit across the table from each other and play this game that we both love. And maybe even play Wastes of Veldmar. I know, I like to dream big, but who can blame a guy for dreaming, right? Anyhow, if you've enjoyed any of this, please like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. I've got all kinds of different content. I've got drafts, I've got discussions of Magic as a game, I've got, you know, critiques of set designs, I've got the deck building toolbox series, I've got all kinds of standard decks that I've built. It is just a smorgasbord of variety. And I hope you would tell me in the comments if you enjoyed the set, if there are things that you would change about the set, if you would like to see an expansion to the set one day. Just sound off. And until next time, never stop honing your critical thinking and empathy.